Welcome to our trip to Alexander Bay and Israelite Bay. Alexander Bay is 105 kilometres east of Esperance and Israelite Bay is 198 kilometres east of Esperance. Our first stop is the Condingup Tavern. This is your last stop where you can get fuel or your vital supplies. We generally run by the rule of thumb that you'll use 2 to 3 times more fuel in sand driving than what you would highway driving, so make sure you top your tanks right up or any jerry cans. Here I am lowering my pressures before we go onto the beach. I'll hand you over to Daz to run you through the process.
Will's got a lot bigger tyres than what I've got, so he'll go to 15. I'll probably keep him up to around like 20. That'll do. I've got all-terrain tyres and he's got mud terrain, so mud terrains are going to sit up a lot better than what all-terrains are. But if I let them down to like 20, they'll still bag out nicely. Pretty much easy to do. I've got the device here, just the pressure gauge, but it's got a few little contraptions on it and that. So up to the tyre we go, undone. Pretty straightforward, and then we're just going to buddy bang, hit that, let it go down. Do this because you get better grip on the sand. So the tyres will bag out and they'll upgrade a footprint. So yeah, I don't let these down too much because I'm also carrying a lot of weight, and I don't want the tyres to roll off the rim either. So. Alright, and then we just simply going to check that. Just put that on there. Okay, so yeah, that's still quite high, about 28 now, and we'll keep going with that anyway.
We got down to the beach and it was absolutely stunning. There are campsites available at Alexander Bay for $15 per night per campsite. Also they have toilet facilities there, tank water if you didn't want to camp on the beach. I sent the drone up, which is a DJI Phantom 4 Advanced, and I captured these guys. They're hunting some fish. Most important thing is we don't disturb the wildlife. We try to keep distance and keep it as natural as possible, which is the best thing about these drones. You don't get too close, but you get close enough to get some good footage. With the Phantom 4 I get about half an hour's run time out of the batteries before I have to bring it back in and swap over battery. All of our footage is shot and captured with a GoPro Hero 5 and a DJI Phantom 4 Advanced. Found these whale bones on the beach. I've never seen these on there before. Caught this mulloway, minimum size limit's 500ml. This one was 550 with a maximum bag limit of 2 per day. Fishing was poor, so we ended up just cruising back to camp, going down some dunes on the old boogie board, having an absolute blast. The next morning we had to continue our trip to Israelite Bay, which is 198 kilometres east of Esperance or 118 kilometres east of Alexander Bay. Here we are letting down our air pressures on the cars and trailers. If you don't let down the air pressures on your trailers, you end up just dragging them through the sand, which causes you to bog quite easily. At this point, if you haven't got enough fuel, I'd definitely turn back and get some more, as the track is pretty hard going. It's really badly rubbed out as well. Here's Daz in a bit of strife in one of the mud holes along the track. When recovering these, you want to make sure you use the correct recovery points and properly rated gear to avoid any incidents. We recovered this with the 80 series. While Daz was getting pulled out, I punctured one of my sidewalls, one of my tyres, so I had to repair that while he was getting pulled out.
The bog. Number 2 was we've got a bloody puncture over here, and there's the bloody culprit just there. We can just see we've just put a plug in it for now, just to get us moving, and we'll bloody have a look at it a bit later on. But you know, these things can happen, doesn't matter what sort of tyres or bloody gear we're running. At any time we need to be ready for it, so just pump that back up and we'll be on our way again. Still got a lot of time to cover before dark night dawns.
We made it to camp by sundown. The track was much more longer than what we anticipated and slower going. Here we are, just kick meat enjoying the campfire. We woke up the next morning. I decided to send up the drone to have a bit of a look around. We found this beautiful jetty. Also, we were able to look at some of the sand tracks, made it much more easier to get through. Here I am bringing the DJI Phantom 4 Advance in for a landing. The camera on these are absolutely brilliant. Very, very easy to use. I highly recommend them.
Awesome. So we made our way here finally. Within a few minutes we've on to nice Mulloway. Straight up, look at that one. Woohoo! Far out, first fish with decent fish and it's a bloody Mulloway. Who would have thought? Well, let's go measure him. Oh, look at that, eh? Holy doolies. Awesome, man. Yeah.
Here Daz is holding a nice sized salmon and my Mulloway. The next day was quite a beautiful day. We caught up with some mates down the beach. Got a couple of trevally. They were quite small, so I ended up just throwing them back. On the 4th day we done a bit of exploring around the area. This was the old telegraph station which was operated from 1877 till 1917. Still standing quite well. The original building was constructed of timber and in 1896 it was replaced by a stone building. There are ruins of a cottage built in 1884 and 2 graveyards where the telegraph operators and others who lived in the area were buried. Here I am over the old telegraph station ruins, and I stirred up a bit of a bee's nest. They decided to chase drones, so I got out of the area pretty quick. Found this cottage, they call it Cook's Cottage. Tried to look up some history on the joint, give you a little bit more background info, but couldn't find nothing. Only thing I did find, there is a book called Challenges in Isolation, which apparently has a lot more info on it. After exploring, we went back to camp. I got the quad out, which is a CF Moto 400. Handles the train pretty well. Here I am having a bit of fun on it. Here we are going back now. We had to leave Israelite Bay, so we're going home. Normally you wouldn't cross salt lakes, but in this case this is the track, and if you ever do cross salt lakes, you make sure you stick to the tracks. Do not deviate off the tracks. If you get bogged, you could be stuck there a very, very long time. Here Daz is, he's just pulled up to make sure we get across with our 4-drive. If you're travelling in groups, this is what you should do. You should always stop, make sure everybody gets through safely without any problems. I normally like to take these tracks on the salt lakes a little bit more quicker, just so I have momentum to get through if anything does go wrong. In this case we're going a little bit slow because I had a fair bit of weight on with the trailer. Found this guy next to a bog hole. He was having a bit of a drink, just sitting in the sun, getting warm. The main thing was we gave him a bit of a distance, just sat there and filmed him, did not try to touch him. Most important, we didn't corner him either, we just sat there and watched until he left and had enough to drink. Also decided to film him just going into the bushes, just to illustrate how easy they camouflage in, how you could possibly step on one. Just to give people an idea how well camouflaged they are. Here Dazzy's just having a bit of a play in a puddle. Here's a bit of a close-up. We finally finished the Israelite Bay track. Now going Thomas River. Here we are going through the Thomas River water crossing. On the way through the water crossing we all made it without a problem. We had a bit of look on the beach, decided not to continue on. We'll go back up the water crossing, go and have some lunch. On the way across the water crossing I made a fatal mistake of going a bit too quick. With the Petrol 80 series, they don't like the water up around the motor too much. Just luckily I had a can of CRC. It's one of the most important things you should have in a petrol car anyway. Here's where the water gets up around the distributor and causes problems. I should have known better. Everybody made it across the water crossing. The only problems we had was mine with the water getting up around the distributor, and Daz just had water got onto his fan belts, made the power steering a little bit heavy. Just stuff to think about when you're doing these crossings. After we had lunch, we decided to move to the other side of the beach, the Tagon side. It was tons better for camping that night. Sand was pretty soft, so first off we stopped and put our pressures back down.
Well, we're going to pick our camp over there, tucked in nicely behind a dune, get a fire going. We're just going to give Bill a hand to let down his pressures on his 80 series. It's going alright, but you know, just for this sort of stuff, we just want to let them down to about 15 pound. I think that'll be good enough for this sort of time, and haven't really got a lot to go, but you know, overall the kids can play on those dunes over there, and this should be good enough. Last night, so who cares really, you know, job's done, and yeah, we'll have a ball.
We set up camp, had some fun on the boogie boards. This is pretty much the end of our trip here. I cut out all the boring stuff. Hope you enjoyed. Give us some positive feedback. Stay tuned for more videos. Cheers.